This principal decided to observe this AP government class, only have been learning about the JFK assassination all year. Let it be known that if you're ever in a room with Barry White Jr., he will be outdressing you, and he's unapologetic about it. I should have known. I should have worn like a dress.
Well, listen, I just know the last time we were together, I didn't show up my best, so I said,
well, you just got off the plane.
I just got off the plane, so I said, let me make sure I was dressed to the nines.
A whole three-piece suit, man. Like pinstripes, navy. I love the pink on you.
Appreciate it.
It's very cute. Well, everyone, this is Barry White Jr., my wonderful friend who is a principal.
Vice principal, but let's claim it.
Yes.
Let's claim it right now.
Vice principal. Vice principal. I'm so excited for you. And it's so funny because I know in a lot of my content, sometimes I always focus on, either students who aren't acting appropriately or parents, sometimes even principals, but I'm so excited to dive into the principal side because I feel like admin really just gets a bad name.
A bad rep.
Well, you have to, I have had an unfortunate share of administrators in my experience as a teacher. So it really just depends on everyone's experience. But I know you personally, but I also know you professionally.
Right.
I wish I had an administrator like you.
I appreciate that. I do. I appreciate hearing that.
You're so good. And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if a lot of people understand how it really works in each grade level. But in high school you have one principal, right? And then each department has their own
different administrator,
admin. It's kind of like their own vice principal. Right. I had some really great ones. Yeah. There were some who were all right. They're they're nice people. They're nice people. Right. Sometimes. But it's okay. So I'm gonna ramble.
Come on.
Please tell me everything. I want to know how you decided to go down the administrator path. What was required of you? You're a vice principal. What is required of you to continue on everything? Right. Before I ramble again, please.
No, you're good. So the funniest thing is, first of all, it's definitely started off as a 5th grade teacher, as you know. That was my heart. The 5th grade, up with school. I mean, pretty much that's, pretty much what I'm known for, it's coming
That's where you were on the news for the first time, yeah?
Well,
tell them all what you got famous for.
Well, my students and I, we did something really cool at the time, 2016. Yeah. We did, it's pretty much each day when my students came to the classroom, we had our own little personalized greeting, which was handshakes, which, so pretty much every single day. I mean, they didn't make outside the door, Mr. White, we got to line up. No, we can't come in yet. Come to the front. They come to the front. We do our greetings, get all the energy up. We excited, doing all that. Get in the classroom, and we go. It was nonstop fun.
How did you remember a different handshake for every single student?
Man.
That's crazy. I'm shoot.
A lot of time at recess, a lot of time in planning, a lot of time my lunch, they coming down. Mr. White, can we just come with you now? You get the students, they want to come with you during your plan when you don't have off planning, you kind of on your own. Hey, can we just come hang out with you? Come on, man. At recess,
That's
Mr. White,
so
can you come up? Can we practice? Let's go. Can't tell them no. So again, after that became so fun, man. It was contagious. Then every class I had after that, it was all right, it's our turn. Cute. And so that was pretty cool. So I did 5th grade, and then I decided, okay, funny enough, went to administration. The best time to go into administration, which was the year of COVID.
Yeah,
that was the greatest time to go in, right? When you got to make all the decisions and you're brand new and you have no idea, you're uncertain, and teachers are emailing, you're going, wait, should I do it? You don't know. So
you don't know anything about what's going on.
Don't know anything.
No.
I'm just getting my feet wet. But re-entry, we have a remote year and all that. We got to go through all that. So I went to be dean of students first down here in Charlotte. That was an experience. Again, you learning curve.
Yeah,
first year,
absolutely.
The biggest shift from going from managing, teaching students to managing adults and coaching and helping adults along.
Bless.
And that's what man, but also coaching, helping them, their craft and kind of figuring out how to move them along, and get them going the same way that you would have did in the classroom with your students, but just in a different capacity. Yeah. That was, a learning curve because, at first you suffer from, I know I suffered from imposter syndrome. Am I really with this? Am I really supposed to go? I just started getting comfortable. So it may seem like, getting all my administrators out there, especially new ones, it may seem like, at this point, polished, relevant skills. I'm confident, I'm comfortable. But there's so many times where I go, no, you do belong. No, you supposed to
You fake it till you make it.
You fake it till you make it. And then now you just get in a comfortable space to where now you know the right thing. Now I'm experienced enough to know how to, the right steps and things to do, how to help someone, more importantly, how to stay composed when you get that burnt out, that, emotional driven, teacher or staff member that's like, you know what, I'm at my wit's end. Hey, and then they need a sounding board to go off on. You gotta know how to compartmentalize. Go, no. This is not anything personal. No, this is something that you have going on. You know what? Let me listen. Okay, let me deduce. All right. So the root cause of this, and then let's have conversations. But it's knowing all of that went to play. So after my dean of students route at University in Charlotte, then I say, you know what? Time for the next trajectory. So it was kind of first year dean of students. The next year, vice principal. So then I went.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's 1, 2, 3, pretty much back to back. Principal intern, dean of students, then vice principal, now currently vice principal. And boy, I'm loving this. Like, I'm enjoying this. Because again, now I'm comfortable. Because my biggest thing was, I think with a lot of educators who go from teaching to administration, is that connection. Hey, am I still in the classroom? I was excited. I got that reciprocation. The students would come, come smiling and smile. Hey, Miss White, the energy, they were giving it back to you. So it was like when I went to administration, and kind of, especially that remote year, it wasn't a lot of that. It was mostly just all adults, which is great. Yeah. But I'm in this for the students, right? For the kids. And, to help adults along now. But I'm in this for the students is what, gives me the drive.
And you have the littles, right?
I have the littles.
Yeah, you have like you're a K2 school.
K2 school right now, K2 campus. So we K5 school, but K2 on my campus particularly is K2. So walking through the halls,
bitties.
Those smiles. So I mean, for the most part of my day, especially in the morning, walking through. Hey, the little thing away. This is a little thing away. I'm telling you, it's a finger flex all day.
See, I'm sitting here like, oh my gosh, so cute. But I know that I could never last in elementary school.
Oh, I think you could.
I see.
Your personality, I think you could.
I can do it in like short increments.
Okay.
But I really love being able to be real with the kids.
I got
like the dry humor that's like, get out of my face. Don't talk to me. I don't want to see you. Like, my high schoolers know. They know that I love them. They know, like, I can mess with them. We can joke around. I can be like, get out of my face. And they know that I don't mean it.
Right.
I could not bear it if a kindergartner didn't know I didn't mean it. You know?
I stay away from high school. I was no far another grade. Hey, shout out to all my admin in high school.
Yeah.
I just know, I got that. It's all good. Again, maybe one day. Not today. Not today.
It's its own. Man, I had some really good administrators and like how we had a different AP we had a different AP every single year.
Wow, so turn up like that?
Well, it's more of they divvied up. Yeah, they divvied up departments differently, and like every year, because a lot of people don't know this, but how staffing schools work is that you aren't actually employed by the school, you're employed by the county. Right. And like I know there's gonna be people that are like, what about private school? It's not the same. We're talking about public schools. Public schools, you are employed by the county, and then each school is allowed to house as many or however many teachers based off of how many students are enrolled. And that's why that first 10 days is so important. Right. Because that determines
if you're keeping teachers or you're losing teachers.
Or are we gaining teachers? Are we keeping the status quo or are we losing them? So like when you don't send your kids, and a lot of people just aren't sending their kids because vacation and blah, blah, blah.
Especially that first in August.
Quite literally could be someone's job because the county's like, oh, there's not enough students here to keep this many teachers. And so when there aren't that many, they don't necessarily get fired, but they become displaced.
Yes,
and they get displaced to a different. That happened to me my first year teaching.
You got displaced?
Yeah, I was displaced.
So you must have been the last hire. Okay.
Because after my first year, I actually wasn't the last hire.
You volunteered?
No, I rioted. I was not happy. Wow. So basically, and this is no hate to the other teacher because I loved that human. Like we've known each other for decades. Like I've known this person I've known his family for decades. Like since 5th grade.
Right. Yeah.
But so basically, the teacher who was hired, after me, they said, hey, we really want you to take over in the band for like this one area.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, sure. And they were like, oh, well, I know you're assistant coach, but it's not really a real coaching position, so we're not going to protect you like we would our other coaches. Right. And then like 2 months after I got displaced, the guy quit the band.
After you got displaced. So they lost you and then they lost it. Okay.
Well, he ended up staying teaching, but the whole thing that protected him was the band. And I was like, what? What? And I was upset at the time.
I know you,
but I was a very upset.
How long was you at that school? Oh, no,
I was only there for a year.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But I don't like change.
Yeah. That's
and I ended up really liking the new school. I mean, obviously at any place there are pros and cons.
Right.
Some of the staff I loved. Like, that's where I met my friend Brenda, that we're still friends, my friend Trav, like, so many people.
There's nothing like your teacher friend you grew up with. I say grew up with.
Those are my people, man. Yes, Bacon, like all of them. And then there's also a group that we called the Clucking Hens. Because
Clucking Hens?
Yeah, because they...
One of those groups. Okay. Yeah, I know those groups.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah, I know.
But I did end up like loving that school, and it was if I didn't go to that school and meet Brenda, because she was already on social media, I never would have started.
Oh wow! So
yeah,
she was
already. Yeah, she had when I started, she already had like 300K. She was a Spanish teacher. Yeah.
Spanish. Okay. Yeah.
So and like literally like her classroom was on top of mine upstairs. And so, like, we also started that during COVID. Like, we all started our new jobs during
COVID. I'm telling you.
So, like, when you started in COVID, what were some of the crazy things that you had to handle and that you just felt like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Like, what did that look like for you?
So, the first thing I think that was, I had to think about was I had to really sit down and go, how this is going to work is the mask. So, ensuring that students kept their mask on. You know, that was new. That was new for them.
Oh, yeah.
New for teachers teaching, trying to, you had to put on their mask so they can hear, enunciate, or, how it would go through the lessons. And then you get a lot of teachers who, if the student taking off the mask, and that was a big problem because they actually was high risk. So then now you got to deal with that conflict because, I mean, in a given day, you have, let's say, a classroom, 26 students. Let's say you're in fifth grade, so you got 26 students. Maybe 1 or 2 of them, you got the ones that's going to test it.
Right.
Of that nature.
Oh, I know. I'll tell you the story about it after.
They're going to test it. Yeah, so it's like battling and, just balancing that and then just the uncertainty, man. So, coming back in that first year of COVID, it's like so many questions. What does it look like? We have isolation room. Oh, who has to be in it? Who has to rotate? All of those different ones.
Right, and you've got to make those decisions.
And I got to make decisions, and I have to stand confidently enough to go, hey, guys, we're going to be all right. And I may not know. But
I'm just hoping.
I'm hoping.
Speak it into existence,
until you put a system in place, right? And then I'm looking at the logistics. Okay, guys, we come over the plan. We start this. You can have the best plan on paper. It doesn't matter. In your mind, that anxiety is still up because you have never experienced this. You've never seen it. So that was some of the wild stuff. And then again, I had the whole grade level that was, again, past time. I had a whole grade level that was on leave. So,
wow.
Yeah, so pretty much the entire year, we had TAs. We had TAs and just people just in helping, from the department. Because again, which is, COVID leave. It was a real thing. So I think that was across the whole board. So it was like, okay, what you can do about that? Only what you can do with the people in the building. So that was a lot. I didn't get that whole experience though, man. Just the biggest thing was the anxiety. Trying to make sure and manage the emotions, be empathetic, to have listening ear, but also say, okay, guys, we do need to at least try. Let's attempt it, right? So hey, here's a way that we can go about this, safe way. And the biggest thing was leading by example. I had to be the first to go out there and do it. Myself and my admin team, I had amazing lift my APs. I still talk to this day. The whole team, we was like, had this model, okay, let me try it. Let me do it. You seeing me do it, maybe you'd be a little bit more comfortable. But, I mean, again, I don't fault anybody. I understood 100%. I mean, I'm new. I'm still trying rotation of isolation rooms. You hear the word isolation room, you think, oh my God, this is going to be.
Right. It sounds so scary.
Because I'm so scary, especially at a time when the media is pumping, everything through. So just the fear, I would say appropriate anxiety, right? Appropriate fear for what we were facing at the time. But again, after a few months of getting going, Then we start, then the excitement came back. Then we know what happened. It really was when the students came back.
Oh.
So when the work days and all, try to build, email after email. Hey, what's it going? The whole 9 yards. As soon as students got in the building, after that first week, you just seen, it was just a feel. The feel was, all right, our kids are back. All right, and the biggest thing, the biggest thing, and I shared this on one of my social media posts, that for me was like a big turning point, was when during that first days, so I'm up front, of course, bringing in the students, make sure they got learning packets, things like that. Parent came in, a kindergarten mom came in, dropping her off with her grandma. It was the mom and the grandma. Came drop a kindergarten off, tears, right? This is COVID time, masked up, the whole 9 yards. Came in, she said, I'm looking, and she's like, oh my God, my baby's starting. My baby's starting. I have to let him go. He's starting school. And I looked and said, COVID couldn't stop the joy for that parent. That parent felt seeing her child going to that building for the first time. It didn't stop it. It didn't stop it. And that's when I said, no, we're going to keep going. Let's go. I'm turning that joy. It was so nice, man, watching that. Like the same feel you would have had, whether it was COVID or not COVID. You're watching your child go into the building in that school when you got to let them go, got to release the tears of joy and just excitement.
You scared me for a moment. I was like, what are the tears about?
Oh, right, no.
I was like, why is she crying?
I know, my bad. It's suspense, right? No. It was a good tear.
Yeah. We love good tears.
We love good tears, right? That's funny. But yeah, again, so you just enjoy, man. I say, we getting through this. We're gonna get through this.
This is why I'm like, I wish you were one of my admin, man. Like, especially during COVID. Yeah. Because you said, like, when those kids try to test, right?
Of course.
I remember there was, I had high schoolers.
Right, yes.
So
grown-ups.
I remember and this wasn't even at the beginning of COVID. This was like the next winter, right? We're doing final exams. And for a lot of people that don't know how most high schools do final exams, is, you just have, the kids will just be dispersed into rooms based off of alphabetical order, because you have like the end of grade, like the EOCs and the state tests, things like that. Yep. So teachers will just be assigned random, like, hey, we just need like cover duties. You're basically there to read the little booklet, the script, and make sure no one's cheating, and like do the little robotic voice and the take the papers and pass them out. It's awful. Like, we can't have our phones, we can't read, we just sit there at a wall and wait for the next time that we have to read the next part of the booklet.
That's funny, because I delivered the training, but when you say it like that, it's like, you're right, I do go through all of that.
It's awful. Right. It's the worst. I hate it every year. Or I hated it. Don't have to do it anymore. But I was given, obviously, as most teachers were, I got a random group of kids. I didn't know them.
That's right.
And I couldn't, it wasn't a class that I had. It wasn't even like a subject that I taught, which, is pretty normal. Yep, but so the kids didn't know me, so we didn't have that rapport, Because my kids would never test me this way.
Not.
Oh, they would be too afraid.
Not Miss Rogers.
No. No. No, not really.
Right.
But so, like, I had this one kid who, throughout this whole thing, kept pulling his mask off. And I just go over and I'm like, hey, my guy, I know you and I both do not want, what is it, the mistest, misadministration?
Misadministration,
yes. Yep. No one in this room wants that, because that means everyone will have to come back.
Everybody got to retake it.
Like, I need you to put your mask on. Oh, yeah. And he was nice about it. Right. And then after 5 minutes, it would come back off. Put it back down. Oh, I went 3 different times before I called the people in the hallway that, like, will relieve for bathroom duty or, like, whatever.
The captains,
like, hey, I have a kid that will not keep his mask on. And they're like, you just got to make him put it on. Well, I'm trying. Like, what do you think I'm doing? Like, throwing him a party? Like, I'm trying. So then I asked them, like, 3 different times, what do I do? He keeps taking it off. And they're like, well, if he gets caught, if they catch him, like, someone catches him in your room, like, this whole room's going to have a misadministration. And I told the kid, my guy, you're 17. You understand what this means. You're doing this on purpose.
Right.
Everyone in this room is at risk of a misadministration. All these other kids are going to be so mad. And no one came to help. Nothing happened. But as we were picking up the final test papers, an administrator walked by my room, stuck his head in, and goes, Miss Rogers, Are you not enforcing the mask rules? What?
After you just asked all of them?
Everybody!
After the last test too?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Are you not enforcing the mask rules? I'm like, I've been asking for, you really got to tell them they need to keep their mask on. This does not look good on you. I'm like.
I know, yeah. I know you feel helpless.
I was like,
what do you want me? What more do you want from me? Like Tyrese, right here. Mm-hmm.
It makes, so like, it's in that moment that I wish I had a Barry White Jr.
Yeah, that's tough because again, there's not much you can do.
Right, and it's not like he was in there the whole time. Right. He doesn't. He's also just trying to do his job. But in that moment, I was like, I hate you.
Yeah, I know.
So much.
Well, see, and that's a lot of times. That's what I'm saying. We get the brunt. I would say, in my experience, it's the brunt end.
Yeah.
We weren't there for the start. We weren't there for the build up or even the as it went along. It's whatever was left. It got you to the point. Oh, what did I walk? Wow. And that's why I just don't take stuff personally. I don't take it personally.
I will say there was another administrator who like really stuck his neck out for us during the COVID times.
Right.
And I'm rambling about another story, but before we move on from COVID, because I want to ask more about like the day-to-day stuff about principal stuff. But before we move on from COVID, it just popped into my brain. This might be the most like head-scratching parent I've ever encountered because I like just could not understand. I still to this day have so many questions.
Yeah.
So during virtual learning, I had a few kids that just never showed up, but one in particular, like never saw him. I knew his name because it was on the roster. Never saw his face. Never logged in. Like didn't even sign up for the Google Classroom.
Okay.
Contacted parents constantly throughout the semester. Nothing. Okay. It happened a lot during virtual learning, unfortunately. In the last month of school, his mom emailed me and his admin, because like again, like as each admin has each admin has a department, like whether it's social studies or math or science, but then they also have A through G in the alphabet, L through whatever in the alphabet, right, for students.
Right.
So they emailed all of his teachers and his admin and was like, we need to have a meeting, we need to discuss his grades, like this is unacceptable. The last month of school. Yeah. What are we gonna do to support him? Sure, yeah, if he's now ready, sure, let's go to this meeting. Okay, cool. And the principal, our AP warned, he's like, I don't know where this is gonna go. So like feel free to jump in, but I will lead this.
Right. Yep.
Cool. Great.
Got to, yeah.
Sounds good.
Got to.
I should have followed the lead of the old man. Younger teachers, we don't know. I should have
started going.
I should have just like kept my camera off, muted, but like I was ready to be involved and engaged. Like let's be helpful, and that was my first mistake.
Okay. Yeah.
So first, this lady was just going on about how he's failing every class, cannot understand it. This is unacceptable. He needs to be passing, and we're like, well, ma'am, he hasn't come to a single class. We've never seen him, like hasn't done any assignment, hasn't even signed up for the Google Classrooms. What? Well, of course he hasn't. It's COVID times. Of course he has. It's COVID times. He's not coming to the school. Why would he do that? He's gonna, ma'am.
She didn't know about the remote.
Ma'am, this is virtual learning. Like, I kid you not, I will never forget this line. It is imprinted in my brain. You'll have to put me in a straitjacket before I let him go to the school and get the vid.
Oh, she was standing.
She was like on business.
Yeah, she was standing on business for real. Okay.
So we tried to come
wrong business, but
ma'am, this is virtual learning.
Right.
He doesn't have to leave his home. We would never ask him to like, if they're not comfortable. Because I think at this point there were some classes that were in person, but the parents had to opt in for that.
Right.
You opted in for virtual. This is virtual. This is all through the computer. Because we just assumed maybe she didn't understand.
Right.
Maybe she didn't realize this is virtual. He just has to log into the Google Class. Well, why would he do that? Don't you know that the other video images of the children, of the other students, scare him? Are you trying to scare him?
Okay.
What? Like, I vividly remember sitting there like, and I was like, Rebecca, control your face. You're on camera.
Did you say something? Did you?
So I said, I don't remember exactly what I said. I just remember being so confused and having so many questions.
I bet.
And I did speak up. I said, well, ma'am, I teach all virtual classes, and I don't have any kids who turn their camera on. Like, don't worry. There's not a bunch of kids, like, on that would intimidate him. Because I'm sure that would be intimidating for someone to just see a bunch of random strangers on video.
If you're new to it. Okay.
I don't mean the video. I mean their icons. Their Zoom icons. They just stare at him the whole time. And that's terrifying. She just started yelling at me. And then the explicit started. And my AP was like, oh, no. Rebecca, other teachers, you guys are free to go.
Right.
Because you already stayed after school. We'll just give you an update tomorrow.
Right.
And I hit that log off button so quick, man. So quick.
Because, Well,
the next day I went and I was like, what does she want?
Right.
I have so many questions. And he just looked at me. He goes, girl, I do not know.
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes
I do not know.
They just want to talk. That's how you don't talk. Y'all guys can go. Yes, ma'am. Come on. You just want to talk.
I was like, how did it end? He goes, he's not coming to class. I guess he's going to repeat freshman year. We're like, okay.
Well, that's what we landed on. Yeah, that was a good ad move, though. Yep.
Yeah, I really appreciated it.
You guys go ahead. Now, I've done that a few times.
But so tell me, now that we're moving on from the vid. I was like, I know I'm not going to get a chance to tell that story.
We haven't seen each other in so long.
What does your day-to-day typically look like as a principal? I know so many people just want to know, what do you guys do all day?
Right. Yeah. So it varies, right? For the most part. So let's say for me, especially in my leadership experience, right now it looks like every morning the first thing is I got to make sure everything's covered. Coverages. So I got to look at, make sure, okay.
Teachers not being there.
Teacher staff, support staff. Because even if teachers are out, okay, support staff is out. Now I got to look at little things like, okay, recess coverage, right? Oh, who can cover, in the lunchroom? So figuring out all of those things first and making sure that we adequately have enough in place to ensure that every classroom is supervised and every point in the day is supervised.
Right.
So that's the first start. Then, and this is something I personally do. I know my staff laughs at me. I get on the intercom to do, we always say, hey, staff, please report to your post. Now, I like to spice it up. I feel like I got to set the tone of the day. So each morning I'll play a song on the intercom first.
Oh, that's I
thought it was pretty cool.
What kind of music? Does it vary?
It varies. It varies a lot. It depends on the day. I know they got on me one day. I was like, you know what? We had an event. There's like a lot of events going on. So I know they probably looked up teacher text. I'm like, oh, you took me back to the old days. Playing is rolling like yes. So I had that going, boy, and then I started getting on the intercom. Rolling. I start going. I just do fun stuff like that. Try to make it cool.
So cute.
Oh, I just had it was like the day before break. And the school district usually get paid early.
Yeah.
For that. January, you got to just stretch it out.
Right.
So day before break, I said, it's day before, everybody's tired. So I got something for us. Then I went on intercom, played Just Got Paid. This Friday night. Well, they were texting me like, yeah, let's go. I'm like, yep. Mm-hmm. So just set the tone for the day. That's pretty much that.
Cute.
So then this is like pretty much one of the best times of my day is when the kids are coming in. So, I was a teacher. I had my classroom. So, I'm at the door. Let's go. Now I'm at the front. I got my speaker going. I went live one time. I took over PTA Instagram. After went live, had the music rolling on in there. So they do all in the comments, man, y'all jamming, man, can I come join the party? Yeah, the dads up there, they're like, man, y'all have so much fun. I'll be in there playing Return of the Mac. You can't stop. I'll be going, I got a whole playlist.
Do you play Bluey?
I do, sometimes.
Yeah.
I got a recommendation on Instagram. Okay, they're like, can you add this? I got you. So, the kids coming in the morning, I'm right at the front. They coming in, there's somebody they always do. They're like, stop. And start doing like a little skip dance. And I'm trying to figure out, now I know I'm familiar with the latest TikTok. This don't look like that.
No.
But good try, buddy. Good try. But yeah, just having a good time with everybody. And then pretty much from the morning set, I always do rounds. Like I have to. That's where I get that biggest reciprocation of energy. And just going and saying good morning. Like just saying good morning. Sometimes the little things, interactions with the teachers and the students, each classroom. Hey, good morning, Mr. White. And then I got different routines in different classrooms. So some run to me, I hug and release. Okay, got handshakes from someone. Someone said, good morning. Like from my kindergartens, everybody do that finger wave, because they know that's what I usually do to them. Yeah, good morning,
that's
Mr.
so
White.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's going through all of them. So they be calling me the celebrity because I'll be in the class. Anytime I come, Mr. White, they start yelling and going crazy. But that was one thing that I wanted to aim to do, though. Make sure that, especially administration, because sometimes, we get stereotyped. This is the man, disciplinarian, you can do all that. Nah, when the kids see me, I want them to smile. I want them to be excited to run to me. Like I want that same joyful feeling. They respect me and they're going to listen to, when it's time to meet expectations. But I want them to smile when they see me come down the hallway. I don't want them taking a doomsday walk to my office.
Yeah, and to be scared.
No, they don't be scared. We don't need that.
You're so right. Like I always say that, like, when it comes to teachers, you really only hear from parents when there's something wrong.
There we go.
Like most in-parent interactions are pretty neutral, but you really only hear from people if there is something the matter.
Right.
But a lot of times that's the same case with principals.
Right.
Also, kids usually are only sent to you when they're doing something bad, when they have to be disciplined. So like that, I didn't even think about it being the same.
Nah, so now I'm gonna call Mr. White. He want to go for a walk, or he wants to walk with you. Yep, my little kindergarten. Hey, who you want? You want to walk with him? What? No, he's pointing to you, Mr. Well, I got to do a walkthrough right now, but yeah, I'll be back. But again, I'll never want to set that tone or lead with fear. Like I think it's no place in education for that. You burn out your teachers, you burn out your students, because now they're afraid, they don't want to talk to you. So when you need them to talk to you, like, hey, so tell me what's going on. Now they fearful, they think they're gonna get in trouble. So kind of get rid of that myth. We can be just as fun, just as entertaining, and still lead with expectations, and they still follow suit when it is time to, hey, let's go have a walk, let's talk, let's discuss what's going on. And even with my little first and second grade, the same thing. Let's go walk and talk. But yeah, so that's like the pretty much after my morning arrival. That's what I always hit the rounds, and then it's classroom walk time. I need to see. I want to see what's going on, and it's not and it's more so back. You hear this in admin. You always hear, especially when I got in, visibility. That's the buzzword. Visibility, like the buzzword relationships and all that. Visibility. Now I just add visibility with intentionality. Yeah, it's nice to be visible, nice to be seen and all that. But what am I doing when you see me? How am I interacting with the kids? Am I interacting with the teachers? Am I interacting with support staff, the custodial staff, at lunchroom, with the cafeteria? Am I walking through, of course, see the kids? Am I going to greet, hey, what's up? What's going on with y'all? It's just more than just being seen. You know what I mean?
Doing whatever it is that you do it with a purpose.
Do it with a purpose. That's right. Do it with a purpose. So then, again, try to make sure, I'm in the classroom. Sometimes I'm in it, again, doing my walkthrough, observing, helping the crowd. Sometimes I just want to be taught. So I learned how to make a lava lamp in first grade. Like I sat there and they was, all right, Mr. White, come here. Took out 3 little watercolors. All right, so I'm gonna give you the bottle. Okay, I'm gonna give you this. All right. Now you're gonna pour this in there. So I'm just sitting there. Okay, what's next? Somebody recorded it too of me just sitting in there. That was
what color did you make your lava lamp?
So.
Did you mess it up?
So.
No.
So it is funny. It's actually on the video. Like it's the last thing too. So I follow all the instructions, right? I follow all the instructions. Yep. Okay. Yes. Thank you. All right. I had 3 different people, 3 different first graders telling me what to do. Sure. Break up the limit. Sure. Put it in there. So then I decided, well, I see I use 2 colors. What if I use 3? So I put 3 colors in there.
And it turned it brown.
So look, I'm saying, no, I can't make this up. I literally got a video of this. I can't make this up. So I'm going, okay, guys, yep. So I think I'm going to be different. I think I'm going to put another color in there. Just trying to be the extra. Put a little another color. I start shaking it up. I go, all right, guys, is this it? So 2 of them, of course, I'm their favorite Mr. White. Yeah, you did it, Mr. White. Good job. Why the Alaska goes, it looks like poop. I said, what? Well, that's a fail, but they enjoyed it.
Sometimes we make the worst students.
Right.
We don't like to listen to instructions. We're like, I'm an adult. Yeah. I know what I'm doing.
I got this.
I always see the memes where it's like, teachers are always telling kids, stop talking in class, but those same teachers are like sitting next to their teacher besties at those meetings.
In the PDs, like, and we looking.
I wouldn't. Who does that? Yeah. I never did that, ever.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, no, that was a good time. Again, walkthroughs, and then just always on call, like, first responders, making sure everybody's
when things
good.
Happen,
and it's hitting, and then answering the countless emails that come in, and all the systems and operations from the district, and making sure we attend to all those meetings, things like that. So that's a big part of the day. Again, from the morning part and then to the afternoon, and then I like being there recess. I like being around. I like just organizing, just seeing what's going on. That's the time they're free and just kind of having fun. So I put my little speaker out there, play a little Kids Bop 2023.
Kids Bop.
Let it go, let it run, and they have a good time, man.
That's so cute. So how much of your day is really occupied with like interacting with parents also?
Right. So that's constant. So again, and for different reasons, right? Different ways. So whether that is like the PTA, like, because they always super helpful. I mean,
oh my gosh, yeah, PTA is
so
amazing.
Blessed. Yeah, so blessed to have that, have their support just always around. But then also, again, you're gonna get your emails. Hey, I want to set up a meeting. Hey, I need to talk.
But those are always hit or miss. Like sometimes,
hit or miss.
And like as a principal, I went into teaching under the impression that like, teachers are adults.
Yeah.
Like no way teachers would actually make stupid decisions. And like I was so confident about it too. And it really wasn't until social media, like seeing some of these other people's stories. And even for a while I was like, did that really happen?
Right.
But now I'm like, no. Like someone sent me a story of there was a principal who got an email from a parent saying how my student is literally sprayed with water when he gets sleepy in class. Like, this is ridiculous. He's like drenched, sprayed with water. It's ridiculous. Like, he comes home wet because he says his teacher's spraying him with water. And like, you need to look into this. This is crazy. And immediately this principal is like, no way.
No way. You got a bottle of water spraying.
Definitely like pulling this mom's leg. Just doesn't want to get in trouble. Because, like there are kids out there who will lie about what goes on in class for either like they don't want to get in trouble or attention or whatever. So he goes to this teacher and he's like, hey, I just need to run something by you really quick. I just want let you know I got this email from Connor's mom. Says that he's like going home drenched, and he's like blaming it on something going on in your class, and the teacher goes, oh yeah, haha, and they just stop. And the principal goes, yeah, that's not happening, right? And then the teacher goes, oh well, I mean, if he would just stop falling asleep in class, I wouldn't spray him. And he goes, oh wait, what? The teacher the teacher goes from under her desk and pulls out this like Nerf water gun.
Yeah, Nerf
water gun.
First of all, gun period. Even
play, not okay in school.
Yeah.
100. Okay. Well, now you just made me think of another story to tell you later, but it's a really sad one. We have to be ready for it.
Okay, that's at the end.
It's later. We'll close with that one. Okay. But pulls out this Nerf water gun. And is like, yeah, I've been doing this for years. When kids fall asleep in class, just...
They've been taking it. They've been sitting there taking it for years.
Yes. The kid, like, no, I don't know why no one complained before, but this principal was like, oh my God.
Water gun.
You can't do that. Why? Because I'm sure in some legal book you can somehow classify this as assault. Yeah. Please stop spraying children with water in class.
But to your point, a lot of people would think these stories are made up.
Right.
A lot of people would think that. And I'm telling you, until you're in it, especially the educated community in our population, we know it's not.
Yes.
Because every day, I don't know how many times I'm walking through the office, or even years past, I'm going, you can't make this up. I said, if we wrote a book right now, no one will believe us.
Do you have a favorite instance that comes to your mind?
In one instance, at one period of time along my journey, I did have a student, great, excellent, but was definitely, it had a way of words, right? It had a way of words, we'll say that.
As many kids do.
As many kids do, but again, that was 5th grade, like, all right, yeah, cool. So I know I don't know what triggered. I did the nicest possible. Hey, yeah, come on in. Yeah, good. Come in, let's have fun. It's a good time. Hey, what do you need? I got a center for you. I got a behavior chart. I got everything you need. So I'm thinking, all right, this would be a good week. I got my treasure box. That's when we had the centers. Class dojo's going. Okay, yep. Everything's looking good. And he's so I'm passing out the assessments, quizzes on that day. So then I'm just at the desk, watching, monitoring. All I heard was a big bomb drop.
An F-bomb?
F-bomb.
Oh,
and I'm sitting, oh. So now I'm sitting there. But
gave him the principal look.
I gave him the principal look. But it wasn't the principal time. So I'm like, or vice principal time. So I'm going, I look. But the crazy thing is, you would think, you do the look. All right, there's some remorse. All right, I messed up. He was looking dead at me back like.
Oh, he stared you
I'm
down?
staring back. What you want? Well, I'm supposed to this when I'm still young, so I don't know what to do with this. So I was like, I let it go. I just said, we'll talk after. I let it be. I let it be at the time. We'll talk after. Because again, it was the end of the day, so I'm like, let me call admin. No, we'll talk after. Let's talk one-on-one at this point. Because it was so loud. So that was one thing, right? So then, it was so loud.
What was he upset about?
So
what happened?
Because the student was not messing with him, but you know how kids are.
How old was he?
This is 5th grade. So
fifth grade, dropped an F-bomb.
Bomb.
Did you tell his parents?
I had to. I had to have a talk. Well, I had admin have a talk because the parents was a little. Were
they receptive?
No.
Oh, of course not.
No, of course not.
No. Why would they be?
Because the first one, what did they do to my child? First was what did the other person do, right?
On the flip side, principal gets an email from a parent that was like, I have very strong concerns about, I think this teacher is putting her hands on my child.
Oh, okay.
We need to meet about this. This is absolutely unacceptable. We need to get to the bottom of it today.
Right.
And the principal was absolutely, of course, 100%,
right.
We're going to figure out what's happening. And this is an elementary school.
Right, especially, or in school.
Right, but especially the littles, when, this is clearly an adult.
Right. Yeah.
So set up a meeting for the end of the day. And the teacher's obviously there, looks very concerned, very confused. And the parent is just sitting there with a little baggie and just sitting up all prim and proper. And the principal's like, okay, ma'am, can you please explain to us why, where these concerns are coming from?
Right.
We want to address every single concern and get to the bottom of what's happening. So the parent unrolls her little baggie and there's a tooth.
A tooth?
A baby tooth. Her 2nd grader lost a tooth at school and was just convinced that this teacher just either socked the kid or pulled the tooth out or whatever. Because why else would a tooth just fall out? Apparently this was the first tooth the kid ever lost. And this parent was just, immediately, it had to be the teacher. Teacher hit my kid.
Of course.
And he goes, ma'am, did your daughter say that Miss Smith put her hands on her? No.
She just assumed this.
She just assumed.
Yeah. You came home with a tooth out. Somebody that's
this
fooling and
teacher
knocked
must
us out.
have hit you in the face. Yeah, and he goes, you do know that it's very common for children to lose.
You think he was running a fight club?
What? Yeah. It just fell out. Their teeth just fall out like that? He's like, yeah. They do.
But this really happens though.
Yes. It's crazy.
But then no. So then I had another one that this is funny. This is a little bit funny.
Okay.
I'm sitting here like, all right. So again, 5th grade class, jokesters, right? So 5th grade jokesters, right? So I had a team of them in my block. So I had a team of kids that was just, they knew how to roast really bad. So I had one student who I do not know why he chose to pick on this one. I said, so you got the popular kid who pretty much everybody gonna roll. Well, the one that's the biggest jokester.
Yeah.
You had another one that was just, he was very aside. He liked to be loud, right? So usually they don't mess with the one that's the pretty much the roaster of the class. He told the kid, said, yeah, but that's why you got a 60 on your test. You don't know how to read, right? So that's what he said to the jokester. So I'm sitting there, I'm watching, I'm trying to say, okay, what's about to happen here? Because I know something, all right, when do I jump in, what's about to happen? I couldn't even do nothing. The kid, this one I said, he got the class. He got this. He is the king of his peers. He sat up, said, what'd you say? Okay. He said, First of all, this is bad. By the way, preface, this is bad. If you get pulled out with small groups, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just part of the thing. He goes, you get pulled out with small groups. Because you don't know your ABCs. Hold on, check this out. Then he start drumming on the desk. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Not like, but he started going, and then the class joined in. So everybody started going, A, B, C, D. And I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh.
No.
He was quiet. He got quiet. That kid got real quiet real fast.
He humbled the bully real quick.
That was the wrong one. That was the wrong one to do that with. I mean, he started drumming on a beat. I mean, doing a beat too. I was like, you're pretty talented. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was pretty artsy, brother. Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah. But no, that was just fun, but those are the more, you have fun with your class, because we always we go back and forth.
That reminds me of that TikTok trend that's always like when the quiet kid or the shy kid like has had enough. And it's like, I would roast you, but my mom told me not to burn trash.
Whoa, that's tough. That's tough.
I'll tell you one of my stories from my first school. Because we all know that the principal at my last school never would have stood up for me, ever. So this is at my first school, and I gave the kids like I tried to like go every other with big assessments at the end of each unit, like a test and then a project, and then because everyone like learns differently.
Right, so
some people don't like tests, but some people don't like projects, and so I tried to kind of find a little middle way. So this unit just so happened to be a project.
Yeah.
And I had one kid literally copy and paste the entire thing from this one website. Like, didn't literally copy and paste. Like, didn't try to change anything. Even like accidentally left some of the footnotes in there.
That was about to ask.
It was so...
How did you... Okay, yeah.
Literally, and like, kids don't realize that it's so easy to just like copy and paste what you send us in the Google Doc and just put it through the plagiarism detector, and it's like 100%.
You're right.
So like he obviously got a 0. And I told him, hey, you can redo this project, but you have to actually do it. And I'm going to check even harder for like what you, because now I know that you're just trying to like plagiarize things.
Yeah.
But like you can redo it, but it is what it is. This is 0 for right now. So literally within like an hour, like this kid immediately like texted his mom, and within an hour I had an email from this mom that was like, we need to have a meeting with the principal and the counselor. This is unacceptable. Blah, 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 like all the things.
Yeah.
And so I had to stay after school. Like that's like the worst part is when like I get paid to stay until 2:30, and now I have to stay until 3:30 on my time. I don't get paid for that. I'm tired. I've been there since 6:30 in the morning, man. Yeah. I just want to go home.
Yeah.
So now I have to stay after school. I'm already annoyed about it because like now I already am going to have double the grading because I have to grade an additional one of these kids' projects.
Right.
Ran through the thing, went through all the trouble of talking, and now I'm going to have to grade another project. And now I got to stay after a whole hour. And so we get to the meeting, and this mom just is so baffled that I would give her child a 0.
After you plagiarized.
Like this is high school, and she goes, well, how is he supposed to know that he wasn't allowed to plagiarize? And I thought I might giggled a little bit. I went,
I'm trying to think if she was taking a serious angle. That was okay.
At first I thought she might have been joking. So but I shouldn't have done that. My principal looked at me and I was like, I'm sorry.
That's a bad thing to do with that moment.
I'm sorry. Like she goes, how was my kid supposed to know he wasn't supposed to plagiarize? And I just kind of looked. And like no one said anything, and I should have stayed silent. But I was like, it's just kind of common sense.
Okay.
And my principal looks at me, and I was like, I shouldn't have said anything. I like for me, I was like, this can't be happening. How are we entertaining this? But that principal look, I was like, nope, zipped, nope, not saying anything else.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, how is he supposed to understand plagiarism is against the rules if it's not blatantly written in the instructions? See, Mom's a lawyer.
Okay. So I was about to ask, what's her background? Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Mom's a lawyer.
Love those.
And, but you know, so was my husband. And so I was like, well, ma'am, the student handbook that he signed on the first day of class in my class, because it is homeroom, is where he signed the student code of conduct. And I'm sorry, but that is where he signed that he will not plagiarize, and he understands what plagiarism is. Well, did you guys go over plagiarism in your class?
This is a good question, though.
Yes, ma'am, we did.
This is she had a lot of questioning.
She was working me.
A lot of questioning was pretty good. Yeah.
And she goes, don't you understand that my child will be a doctor or a lawyer one day, and nothing that you do will stop him from reaching his full potential in both college and in the professional world? And I said, ma'am, I would love nothing more than your child to progress into, like, me catching him for plagiarism doesn't mean I want him to fail.
Yeah.
But I just want you to know when he goes off to these Ivy Leagues that you are so convinced he will end up at. If they find out he plagiarizes in their classes, he will get kicked out.
Right.
And she was, well, they would be more clear about, I said, ma'am, they have been going over plagiarism every year that they have been in school since kindergarten.
Right.
Okay? You know, you're in elementary.
I'm
you
elementary.
know that they still go over plagiarism in elementary. I said, no.
Yeah.
He can either redo it or he can get the 0.
Right.
Well, why can't you just omit the grade? No. She wanted me to just exempt him from it.
Yeah.
Did not have to do it, not count against him, but not count for him. And my principal was like, no.
No, that's not going to work. Yeah.
No, because that's also not fair to other kids.
Yeah,
and that's
then you
something
set
that
the
like
precedent.
parents don't get is that, well, first of all, it does set a very dangerous precedent that you can just cheat on things and it won't count against you, and you don't actually have to do it in the first place.
For later in life, we want to set you up for success.
Exactly. Exactly. And like the whole thing isn't just I'm punishing you, you have to redo it. It's about you still have to show the mastery of these skills. And it's not just about the content, because people are always like, whenever I tell that story, people are always like, who actually cares about the French Revolution? And like it was a revolutions project. It was the French Revolution, the Haitian Revolution, the American Revolution, and something else. I just can't remember at this moment in time. But I'm like, it's not just about that. It's like the skills of being able to look at an event, like read about it, and then summarize it into your own words. And like the skills of being able to do that, cite sources, like process complex information. It's not just about the content.
There we go.
It's about the skills that you're using to process the content and then complete whatever tasks you were asked to complete.
There you go.
Like one was like finding artifacts. Can you like look at a situation and decide what is a relevant artifact and something that is irrelevant to this cause?
Right.
Like there's so much more that goes into some of these assignments that people just don't
the little
understand.
nuances that build on each other, foundational skills that build
It's not
on each
just
other.
about the content. It's not just about reading the book in English class. It's about reading the book and like using different kinds of skills to analyze that information.
Right.
And people don't realize that like when you grow up and the let's say the government is issuing a new bill. Can you read that bill and really use those skills you learned in school to understand understand what it is? Like these skills that you're learning in school, you're applying it to content at the time.
Of course.
But you grow up and you apply it to everyday life skills.
It's the discipline of it.
Yes.
Because you can easily, like even in today's society, you can easily go on Google, look up something, right? But it's the discipline of, let me research something. Let me go to Google, you're researching something. You're trying to find, some information, then apply it to whatever you have going on.
Exactly.
Because all the things that you learn in grade school coming up, or whatever, schooling you have, you build when you're younger, and then you apply as an adult. You know how many times I think about, I'm just looking at elementary and going through classrooms going, dang, I do that right now.
Yeah.
But how hard was it to try to give me homework when I was in elementary? Hey, go home and actually study. Hey, now as a teacher, how many times have you took work home with you? Now you got to say, just all of that plays a part. That's the building that discipline and those habits and the skills.
And so people just don't. Sometimes you need someone else to connect the dots for you of how you use those skills from school in everyday life. But they're there.
Yeah,
people don't realize it, but they're there.
They're there. Another time too. This again, I was an administrator. So, again, you suits, suits, smile,
super fancy.
Always try to be, inviting, smile. My personality. I'm just charismatic. I try to be that. Some parents are calling a parent in for a conference. Hey, so want to talk about, let's discuss. And child, you have some concerns, X, Y, Z. So again, get through the conference. Okay, so no worries. I definitely will look into this. I'll follow with the teacher. Again, we can come together, all of this stuff. So, okay. So I'm like, all right, let me show you. Come on at the conference room. Why? She stopped me and goes, man, I don't see you got a ring. Oh, okay, mister. So, so literally, I came in and was like, okay. So what's that, ma'am? Thank you, ma'am.
Hands to yourself.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. I'm just saying, you fine. I appreciate it. Thank you. Again, I'm like...
People would riot. Like, if you were a woman and a man did that, that's like, that's so inappropriate to put your hands on somebody.
Right. They didn't care. Again, and it could be because I have an inviting personality, so I'm not... I'm not stern and all
would
that.
I have a very inviting personality.
You do?
But if a man grabbed me like that,
that would be an issue.
Right in the face.
That would be an issue, right.
No.
Yeah, it's
I was weirded out. Okay. I had a kid who, like, in the middle of class was like, hey, my dad's here. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, he just really wants to meet you. And I'm like, why? He just really wants to meet you. And I'm like, well, I'm teaching right now. So that's not going to happen. Right. But anyways, that's so weird.
But again, I didn't, I don't take it no way. It's just, signing parent, whatever.
Do parents get handsy with you?
Not handsy per se.
She got handsy.
Yeah, in the moment, I'm like, okay. I guess she was animated. She was very animated in the conference.
She was interested.
Probably could be, yeah.
She was animated. She was interested.
Like I said, they all my children. All of my children. So I don't mean everybody in the building. But another, but a really cool, sweet story though. I'll tell you is again, it was actually maybe a couple months ago. So at vice principal again, suited and booted.
Right.
So I had so I posted one of the posts for my JCPenney. I did a collab with JCPenney's. It was my
right.
So then, again, a parent had came in the next day, and they were just in the front office checking in. So he was like, oh, Miss White, I got to tell you. She has kindergarten there. She was like, hey, I knew the job was important. I knew, it was important in your role. I just didn't know how important. So she said she was on Instagram at night, just scrolling, go to Instagram. I popped on her feed, seeing my, the experience thing. Said her kid in kindergarten was like, hey, wait, stop. Go back. And it was like, he went back and said, he looks like me. That's my twin. That's my twin. I call him twin now to this day. He knows who he is.
So cute.
Check this out. He keeps a blazer in his bag. She was like, he kept the first few months, kept a blazer in his bag just in case I wore my beige one. I said, come on.
Come on, man. Cute.
I mean, and that goes back to show you, sometimes, again, you're going through the motions, and I'm going through my day, admin and all that good stuff, but even the little things that I don't pay attention to, the indirect, it matters. Just showing up, just being present, just being, around, carrying myself, the person, that matters. Because you think about a kindergartner, right? At that age, seeing it that early, at that age.
Being able to identify a person.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so
that very nice. And I keep that. I got a blazer. I hang up on my coat rack in my room just in case I pull out the bag. Hey, you got your blazer today? I'm going to go get mine. Yeah, we twin.
My heart.
We twin. Yeah, that was real nice. That was touching. I asked her, can I tell her? She said, yeah, no, please, Mr. White. I said, that made me feel good. Yeah, my boy Card. I can say his name. My boy Card. I was like, yeah, that's my boy.
I love that's so much sweet. I mean, again, my really sweet but devastating story we'll save for the very end.
The end.
I have one more story and then a question or two for you.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So someone else sent me a story of this principal and this is just another thing that principals have to deal with and figure out and maneuver. This principal was just looking at, the AP scores that the students in his schools gained over however, for that year. And was just trying to monitor and see how his students were doing. And noticed that every single kid who was in one particular class who took the AP Gov exam were getting 1s and 2s
Really?
Only. And then was, what? And so went back into the archives and realized that this was happening for this particular class.
Okay.
Every year. Just with this one teacher.
Yeah.
And was not understanding. He's okay, maybe I should go observe and see what's going on.
Yeah.
Decided to observe this AP government class. Let the teacher know, hey, I'm just going to be chilling out. No problem. Starts immediately, not with anything about how the government works.
Right.
Immediately starts going into the JFK assassination.
Oh.
Immediately starts talking about, the Carousel Club, and like those who like know the conspiracy theories know. Like the Carousel Club, and like the owner of the Carousel Club was really just going into it. And like at first the principal was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Like maybe they're talking about like the transfer of power between JFK and Lyndon Johnson, things like that.
To make the connection. Okay. Yeah.
Asks a student, hey, like this is really cool. How long have you been covering this topic? The student looks at the principal and goes, we haven't learned anything but
they only been teaching
only been learning about the
theorists.
Yeah. Only have been learning about the JFK assassination all year.
That's wild.
All year.
The entire year in that class?
Or the whole semester.
Oh, semester,
yes.
right.
But still, yes.
That would make sense, right?
The whole semester.
Yeah.
And that's why, none of the kids took the exam, and the few that did only made one. Because they're like, how hard could it be? Hard.
Very hard.
Be hard.
If you only learn, it's like, it's really hard. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, that's just one more thing that people don't realize, because then now this principal has to deal with it.
Now
has to get to the bottom of it. Is this happening in his other classes that I just don't know because it's not state-made exams?
Right.
Like, what? Yeah. That's one more thing added to that principal's plate.
Yep, I give you one more too. I got one more for you.
Okay.
Before we move on. So, I get one more story that can't make this up, right?
Okay.
So, all right, so subs come in and out. It's already sub in and out. Cool. So we got a sub, right? So subs in, all right, gave it a plan. Hey, this is where you go. All right, so you're in the classroom. So then I get a call from one of the teachers. I'm like, hey, I'm waiting at the class. There's no, is the sub here? There's no, and I'm like, oh, wait a sec. I'm on it. Let me go search. Maybe they're supporting a different class. They didn't know the time. I got you. Don't worry about it. So I'm walking through the entire building. Each classroom, I don't see this sub, right? Teachers waiting outside the classroom. The door closed. I'm like,
sub to be seen.
There's no sub to be seen. So I'm like, okay, let me go ask them in the front of, hey, look at the camera. Do y'all see this? Like, do y'all know where she's at? She was in the building. I'm not sure. So I go, all right, no worries. The teacher's waiting. They got to get the planning. So I'm like, let me go. I got them. So I'll just go in.
Cover.
Let me
love that.
Cover this one so I can get somebody in here. I'll just cover something. So I go, all right, guys, first grade class, right? All right, guys, I got you. Oh, Mr. White, you got to. No, but I got you for right now. Unlock the door. I go in. I hit the corner. I go, y'all hold up for a second. I'll try to pause the class. The sub was in the rocking chair. I mean, knocked out cold. But check this out, though. I didn't know that. Because I stop, I go, hey. Are you awake? So I'm tapping now, and I'm really tapping. Like, and I'm raising my voice a little bit like, hey, look at. She's not moving. Hold on. So here go the kids. Hey, y'all get back. Y'all come back. No, get back. I tell y'all when to come in here. So then I go, and the first thing went through my mind, and let me know this right now. Again, if you haven't seen this, fine. Have you ever watched King of the Hill?
No.
Animated. Okay, so in King of the Hill, animated, a series, one of the episodes, it was like a old woman had came back to the house. And I go, hey, yeah, I used to live here. Okay, that's when they come back, cool. She went to the couch, sat down. They left, they came back. They saw her, pretty much like, yeah, I wanted to pass. And then in my house, right?
No.
So hold on. So I don't know why that hit my mind. But I'm saying the first thing, like, I know this didn't just happen. So, because I'm really yelling. And
you're like, oh my God, this woman just died in this chair.
I'm trying to figure out how I'm about to handle this. Like, first of all, I'll be okay. But I'm trying to figure how, because I kids peeking their head. So I go. So now I start rocking the chair. She goes, oh. She woke up. My heart straight. And I'm like, how am I about to play? Why this school?
Gosh.
Why work? First of all, you're right, but why was this school? Why I gotta do this? Well, I'm telling you so. And then, oh yeah, I'm so sorry. I ain't never let her come back.
No,
That's it. You're on the ban list.
See,
I'm sorry.
Okay, I actually have one more story.
No, go ahead. Yep.
So I did not like missing school when I was a teacher. I did not like.
You're one of the good ones.
It stressed me out, man.
Everybody can
like it stressed me out, and like I get very protective over my students' learning time.
Right.
Like I like to keep on track. I don't like I'm like type A teacher, right? Like everything's planned out. It's gonna stay this way. I'm sick. I'll put on a mask. Stay away from me.
Champion through. I tell you, boy.
But once after I put in my 30 days notice, I had all of this
sick days,
all these days, and I had a friend who was competing in New York Fashion, or who was walking in New York Fashion Week. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a day.
Okay.
I'm gonna go,
Why
man.
not?
I'm gonna go.
It's okay.
So I got a sub, and when I got a sub, and I was out for a day or so, but when I came back, I had a few girls who came up to me in different class periods, letting me know that the substitute that I had was making them very uncomfortable, and put his hand on their back or on their shoulder, and would sit very close, would literally like not even sit at sat at my desk and went through my desk. But then like also got my rolly chair and just sat next to them, some of them.
Oh, it's high school too.
This is high school. And they were very uncomfortable. And absolutely. Let me report this immediately. So I reported it to my assistant principal. This is the same assistant principal, mind you.
The one that had your back.
The one that had my back at the beginning with the vid.
Right.
And the same, the same exact one. And I called him in and I said, hey, I know that my last day is going to be in a week or so, but I need to tell you about this incident to make today, to make sure that it's like it doesn't happen again. And I told him, and I said, the girls have been telling me this. Like I've had multiple girls in multiple classes say the same thing. This is a problem. We need to get him on like the blacklist. We need to make sure he's not a sub anymore. And he goes, let's not be so hasty. And I looked at him and I said, what?
Yeah.
He goes, this is a person's like income for their family. Like we don't really want to make any crazy accusations. Like why don't we just go ahead and make sure he doesn't come back to this school anymore? And I'm like, but he shouldn't be in a classroom with children, especially teenage girls.
Right, yeah.
And he goes, well, we just don't want to make any big hullabaloo. Like the county's just coming back after COVID. We're still all getting back on our feet. We don't want to raise any flags in the media. So we'll let it be someone else's problem. And
no way. Come on.
All of my respect for that individual just out the door. Every time he ever stood up for me, every time I saw him go to bat for teachers, all of it out the window. It was gross. And so I immediately went to a different AP and I was like, my last day is coming up, but someone needs to handle this, and it's not going to be him. Because if you want me to go over your head too, I will, but this is not okay. And I was so disgusted.
Yeah, that's the right thing though. Yeah, because
it just goes to show that there are some people in every profession that even though they might sometimes make the right call, sometimes the wrong call can be so detrimental.
Yeah, no, seriously. So I forgot how the saying goes. Like you spend, let's say, 30 days, building up or earning interest, and you can lose it in one day. In one day, based on some of the actions. But yeah, I'm ready for your questions. Go ahead.
I have a question for you because I love that we've been running off on the stories, but I still have a couple. I love the stories. I still have some questions, and they might have some simple answers. They might have some complex ones, and that's okay.
Good. That's okay. Yeah.
Do you think that they're like? I usually try to ask some kind of like bullying question, but I feel like we kind of like covered that admin really get like the short end of the stick. They kind of get blamed a lot. A lot of times they're kind of like the middleman between students and teachers, or teachers and parents, or the county and teachers, things like that. And that's not fun, but it's just like a reality of the job. Do you think there are any other major misconceptions about principals?
Yeah, definitely. So there is a gap, right, that automatically you get because when you enter administration, just because of the title sometimes, right? So I'll use myself as an example. So again, all them years teaching. That's all I know for teaching. I did first year out, and I was at a new school. It's almost like I was never taught. You always would have thought that I was only in my suit and walking around with a walkie.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm only 3 years removed from this. Like, I still have a teacher lens, but there's that divide to where they think, and I'll say this, it's always a finger pointed up, right? So again, it was really like, all right, I don't think they're doing anything. I don't think they're doing enough, right? And then you have, let's say your admin looking at the district. Hey, they're doing too much. We need this, and then so forth, so forth. So it's like one of the biggest misconceptions I think is they've removed from the classroom. They no longer know the feeling of what it's like, teaching on that.
Yeah.
And I would say, I was going back to earlier, I was saying that connection piece, right? So I would say for a lot of administrators that I know and I frequent around, and some of my mentors I talk to, their thing is establishing that connection by making sure that they are in the classrooms, right? So they're part of it. That. Well, I'll give you the biggest example for me that kind of got me that's when I say, you know what? I can go to administration. I can do that. Was one of my principals, and to this day, students who love it to death when I was teaching. Even me now, knowing the schedule and knowing all the ins and outs and the fires you got to put out, parents you got to respond to conferences, the meetings, the district meetings, not admin, my principal at the time, top of the school, still made it a point, was in my room, hey, co-teach with me at some point. So you would just come in and say, all right, look, clipboard, and then go, hey, can I jump in? Jump in with me on the lesson I was teaching. I said, okay, that was good. So I'm just looking, okay, yeah, please, right? Yeah. That was fine. But then took this next level. Came in, developed a small group. So written down, wrote the small group plans, had the script. Say, hey, I'm going to do this small group. You want to do a small group right there? And then you can use my plans? That's what's said. And even that. I'm telling you, and I just thought about, I'm like, dang, this entire school, you take time to be okay. And that's why that kind of motivated me to say, you know what? I can still do both. I can balance both. I can still be a part and still, run the daily operations and do all that stuff. Still at the table, just going through the small groups. Okay, all right. I'll see you guys next Wednesday and plan, and then walked out. And then that's kind of what propels me now. Like you see, I'm in the classroom. What activity y'all doing? Okay, let me see. This would be a part. Just sit in there sometime, just to, to feel like that. And I would think that piece right there, when you have, administrators who are really, just in there and all that bridges some of that gap. So this is the connection in the classroom. I think that's one, just that gap. And then another one that I believe sometimes is the level of, and it's going back a little bit to being in the classroom, but of knowing what's happening in the classroom, right? Yeah. Sometimes you don't know what the students do. What's really this student, and not understanding your frustration or you're being empathetic about it, and sometimes that's real, right? So right. I want to preface this: you have your different set. I believe in, and people that I'm around and mentors, we believe in being present and actually being with the scholars, talking with them, having those interactions that we talked about, so that when you do raise a concern or flag, let me come talk to them. Have that personal relationship. So a lot of times I get phone calls, or not phone calls, but walkie radios or texts. Hey, can you just go? Walk. You just want to walk with you. I know these students personally, right? So I know I can go have that personal connection with them, walk them around. I can go talk to them. It's not just another student. Oh, let me just write up a referral. Let me send them home. There's a personal connection that I think the teachers, the teachers and staff just feel like they're sometimes disconnected when you're an admin. You're only in the office. You only see you're only on email. You're email admin, right? Things like that. And some of that's real. Some of that depends on where you're at. But I think where we are and what I aim to do is to make sure that I'm still connected with this classroom, but the teachers too, and then the students, by consistently being present, consistently being around. Yes. Yeah. And just being impactful. Yes. At the end of the day, being impactful. Like 100%. I can't contribute if I'm in my I contribute somewhat in the systems and operations, but actually putting my hand in the mud, being in the trenches with you guys, like what I'm saying, you guys. By the way, I'm only 3 to 4 years removed.
Still, yeah.
Still.
Well, I feel like that kind of also goes into, because you said those were your two misconceptions.
Yes.
One that, and again, I've never been an administrator, but one that I feel like a lot of teachers and students and parents, like, and just the general public really do believe, is this idea that people go into administration because they're just unhappy with being in the classroom. And I feel like that's a misconception. I feel like there's so many answers to that. Because I feel like there genuinely are people who go into administration because they feel like they've outgrown the classroom, or they don't fit in the classroom anymore, but they've already invested so much time in this career.
Right.
Like, what else? You know, it just makes sense to go into administration. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they don't love teaching. The classroom's just not their place for them. It doesn't necessarily mean they don't care.
Right, it don't mean they don't care. That's
but then there are also people who go into administration because they care so much.
That's right.
And because that they see this is what wasn't working with teaching, or this is what wasn't working when I was in the classroom, and this is how the system is flawed, and here's how I want to change it. Or I didn't feel supported as a teacher, and I don't want other teachers to feel that way.
Very true.
And again, it really, like, I feel like there's so many people that genuinely believe, like, oh, well, they went to administration, like, they don't really care about the kids as much, or they don't care about the teachers as much. But that is, in so many cases, like including yours, so far from the truth.
So far from the truth. And I would say, to that point, that is a thing that I hear a lot too. Like, they really, when we go into administration, it's to escape the classroom. That's the word I always hear. Escape, the classroom and things like that. Well, one, the reality is you ain't escaping anything. I'll be the first to tell you. The second you shift from just managing, being the principal of your students, to being a principal or admin of adults, that is going to really test whether you love this industry or not. Because it's a big difference, and it's a lot more to deal with on a different level, in different capacities, right? Because there's so many different factors. So, and that's why a lot of times I've seen a lot of people go to administration and they go right back to the classroom. No, I want to go back because the decisions, and then sometimes it's the tough decisions you have to make or enforce that may come from the district that you know there's no way around. It may not be received well, but guess what? I still got to stand in that. I got to stand in the kitchen. It's going to get hot. It's going to get real hot. I still got to stand in there, and I have to stand planted and wait for everything to cool off for people to get perspectives. And what you will find is that, again, there is no escape. There's no escape to this. So. And on a flip side of it, a lot of people do go because I feel like want to give more. Like, there's more to give. So, okay, if you had found high success in your classroom with your students, you go, you know what? I would love to share this, with others. Facilitators, coaching other people. When you're an administrator, you get from the full school view. Now I can impact more than just my one classroom, right? Or more than just my grade level, depending on what I am. And you can do that, and I want you can do that again in this teaching, like this teacher leadership, right? Or just leading upwards, or leading, down, whatever you want to call it. But the impact, I think, just being able to give more from a wide scale is something that a lot of people look forward to. And thinking about going to administration, just want to help other people grow their craft and help the entire school, almost types of students. A lot of times when I was teaching in 5th grade, I didn't even know some of the kindergarten teachers' names. Like, I didn't even see them a lot. We were so in pods. We was in pods. So on the admin level, everybody shares. Everybody. Like, you get to feel every from different grade levels. You get to feel the different atmosphere, the different vibes, just from different levels of parents, the whole 9 yards. And I think you do have to want to do this. I would say that you do have to want to do this, and you have to have a passion in it, because it ain't to pay, and it definitely ain't gonna be. It's no escape. It doesn't get easier. It's not. Oh, yeah, I'm in administration now. I don't have to. Teach, these 22 or, what's the scholars. I don't have to do no weekly lesson plans. No, but you need to know every weekly lesson plan for every grade level. So when you go see, so you still have to be able to. Right, you have to be a part of. You still got to be a part of. So again, different reasons, different folks, but I think a lot of people, their attention's pure, and it's just wanting to give more at a wider scale. And you feel as though you have that capacity and you have that confidence in yourself and your ability. You know what? I want to share this, or I want to help others bring it out of them, who may not have it before, or may need that little push, like you said, from that person, or and it means something when it comes from your administrator. Your administrator is pouring confidence in you, pouring, belief in you. What? No, I know you got this. Versus if you just, maybe from your peer or something like that. That's always good to have a teacher, but it means something when you have somebody that supervisor valuing you, that's for you, and that wants you to do better. Yeah. And I think that's why we in it, and it feels good. Last thing I'll say, I tell my mentees that I mentor right now, I say, listen, and every day I go home, I always ask myself a question: did you do some good APing today? Did you do some good VPing today? Did you contribute? I have to ask that. Did I have an impact? Because if I sat there and doing nothing, then I'm not doing it right. That's a problem for me. So I'm like, then I have some impact today, and it might not always be in the most glamorous way.
But even every little bit helps. It makes a difference. It matters.
It matters, and that's all I aim to do. Especially on this side of the fence, we don't need no credit. I don't need no kudos. I did all that when I was teaching. I got all accolades, cool. On this side, I like being behind the camera, behind the work. You know what? Tell me, how can I contribute today? Even the small. Even if it was a little smiley face I put on the sticky note to a teacher, say, hey, I love how you made it. Your proximity in the classroom, your skimming and scanning, it was beautiful. That just made that person, that helped them along with their confidence. I'm like.
And that's what matters.
That's what matters. That's
making me emotional because it feels like a very natural segue to my ending story. Okay, I got you. The real, like major trigger warnings.
I'm ready. Okay.
So I don't know about you. I'm sure you do because you're in the world.
Right.
But I always pay very close attention when there are school shootings in the country.
Yes. Yes.
And I don't know if you looked into the one from Iowa.
Oh, the recent. Mm-hmm. I saw the clippings. I didn't look into the details of that one.
I didn't do a deep dive yet because it always upsets me very much. So a 17-year-old opened fire in the cafeteria of a school, and there was either an 11 or a 12-year-old who unfortunately passed. And there were other kids that were injured, but the sole reason more kids did not pass is because the principal shielded a bunch of these kids and sacrificed himself and just decided, not my kids.
Yeah, not today.
Not today.
Not today. Mm-hmm.
And the officers didn't give a lot of details, but just said that it was very clear that the principal intervened in order to get as many other kids out as possible, shield kids, whatever it is that he needed to do.
Right.
And he didn't make it. But his daughter told officers that as soon as she heard there was an incident in general, she knew that her father wasn't going to make it because she knew that he would. That's my dad.
Yeah.
Those are his kids, and that's his school.
Right.
And I knew the moment I heard that he would do exactly what he did.
Right.
And I'm devastated, but I'm so proud of him.
Yeah.
And that's something that we should never, ever have to ask our teachers, our principals. There should never. And I always get asked about, and I'm not going to ask you this because I know you're still in the school, but I'll share my own thoughts. Whenever people talk to me about well, don't you think the teacher should be armed? Don't you think the teacher should be armed?
Yeah.
My answer is always to look at the school shooting from last year where the teacher was shot by the little kid.
Yes.
And the county tried to turn it into a workers' comp issue.
I couldn't believe it. Go ahead. Yeah.
And that's why my answer will always be absolutely not. I do not care what your stance on the Second Amendment is. Does not matter to me. The moment you allow that to start happening, counties will actually have merit to that. Oh, well, it's a reasonable, we have teachers that carry, we have guns on campus, that becomes an actual workers' comp case, and that should never be the thing.
Never be.
That should never be a thing.
Absolutely not. And I'll say this, I preface this. Right now, without any being armed, without any weapons, anything like that in schools, you have teachers already burnt out. You have teachers already emotionally checked out, mentally checked out. Not from students, just from
the job.
Just the job, right?
They're already not paid enough for what they do.
They're not paid, severely underpaid. So it could be affecting home life, all this stuff already going on. You're already seeing high absences, high vacancies, because this is our profession. This is the profession, and it's hard, and it's only it's not getting easier. You want to tack
that on.
You want to tack this on into individuals who deal in high stress environments. We deal with high stress environments, period.
All the time. All the time. Do you know how many teachers are assaulted and beat by students, like especially in high school? I see a lot of those stories.
See, in a lot of schools, you see, how they talk by parents, whether that's by students.
Crazy.
Sometimes by other staff, man, depending on the atmosphere and climate.
Why would you ever introduce?
We should.
No.
I think we got a lot of issues to address.
Right.
Way before we reach a point of that.
Right.
As the Band-Aid to put over a huge serious problem.
It's very big problem that we need solutions to. That's just not the solution.
That's not. We have a lot of other things that we need. Exactly. That I think we need to put attention on.
Absolutely.
Going back, teacher pay. He's going back to teacher pay. Going back to I know we have some mental health programs for our students. What about teachers?
Yeah.
Well, what about
pizza
emotional support? Pizza party? Pizza party? No. Pizza party ain't gonna cut it, right? Jeans passes ain't gonna cut it, right? So it's not gonna do it. Wellness programs, other things that we can pour into the schools versus weapons.
Yeah.
I think we have a long way to.
Here.
If we never even get there, which I wouldn't agree on, but we have a long-standing list of things that need to be done for our teachers and educators, period. Across America, like everywhere. And that's just a thing. That's the reality.
I think that's a good, standing on business. I don't even actually know what that phrase means. I just say it because I see it on TikTok. Yeah,
we're going to stand on business on that topic.
I think that's a good, then that's facts, no printer. That's on period, man. I don't teach the high schoolers anymore. I got you. I need them to keep me hip. But I think that's a good,
I love that. Yeah,
idea to, period, out. In a previous episode, I was bestowed upon a DJ name by a DJ, a professional DJ. Yeah, DJ Big Apple out.
DJ Big Apple out? That's your name?
Yeah, that's my
I love it.
DJ
DJ Big Apple. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah. There's a lot of things that go into it. Very exciting.
But let me say this. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you.
Listen, I know again, money for a long time.
I love you.
And I love you.
We're like friends.
No, seriously, off camera and all this. And you're doing a phenomenal job. And
I
watch
you're doing a phenomenal job.
Now I'm saying, for real, from a social media standpoint, the inspiration is kind of how you built your success, how you continue to grow. I'm a follower. I'm a friend.
I know
all that
you.
in a follower. But seriously though, it's like you were doing such a great job, and you inspired me. You inspired me to get. You know what? Let me get back to posting. I was in school for a little bit, so I said, all right, let me get back to showing social media content, because again, it's gifts to be given, right? It's stuff that I can share the world to help others and all that nature. And you do it consistently. You've been doing it for a while at a high level. So I just want to make sure you get your flowers to make sure you are appreciated for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today on a school night.
On a school night.
You must love me.
I got walkthroughs and observations in the morning, but it's okay.
I gotta go get you dinner.
Yeah, we can roll. Yeah,
I will. Let's go. We're gonna go get you dinner. Thank you guys, everyone, so much for hanging out with us today.
Thank you.
Hope you have a great rest of your day, and see you next week. Bye, my lovelies.